Now is the time for mourning and for healing. But let's be clear. At some point, we as a country will have to reckon with the fact that this type of mass violence does not happen in other advanced countries. It doesn't happen in other places with this kind of frequency. And it is in our power to do something about it.
Gun control remains one of the more contentious and divisive issues in America. Those who insist guns don't kill people, only people kill people. Others who fight with the same fervor that if there were fewer guns made available, more lives would be saved. And now this debate plays out once again with the president, some would say, choosing the wrong time to make a political statement when 9 people are barely 24 hours from being gunned down in their church. Let's dive in with the political animals. From the right, GOP strategist Ford O'Connell. From the left, Democratic strategist J.D. Gins. Gentlemen, I thank you both for joining us. And J.D., I'm going to begin with you on this one. The president comes out, blames ineffective gun laws, issues a sharp condemnation of the politics surrounding guns. The mayor of Charleston, far too many guns out there. And a former Obama administration official blames, and this is the good one, South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley's defense of flying the Confederate flag outside of the South Carolina State House for what happened at the South Carolina church. J.D., isn't it just too soon to bring politics into this when the bodies are still not even barely in the coroner's office?
Well, absolutely. It's pretty soon right now, and my thoughts and prayers are with the families that are going through just a tremendously tough time right now. It's horrendous, and nobody anywhere on any side thinks that that's okay. But we do have to address exactly what President Obama said and look at the reality. Our country has gun problems. And while we do everything that we can to make sure everybody can carry their guns, we do very little to make sure that we are protecting our people. We are a leader in the world on this issue in that we have so many gun deaths. And eventually, I think people in America are going to wise up and want to know, what are we going to do about these kind of lone wolf situations?
Ford, I guess, again, the question is it too soon or is it the right time to bring this up?
My condolences to the families of those who died. But yes, it's absolutely too soon. But this is the Obama playbook, okay? Don't let a good crisis go to waste. And as sarcastic as that sounds, that's what he's doing here. He's not, the one thing he should be talking about, okay, is hate crimes and race relations in the 21st century. But he's not doing that. He's going after the good old liberal, go get the guns, diminish the Second Amendment, and unfortunately this is going to backfire on him.
J.D., I know you're shaking your head on this one, but still, can't you come out and just say we feel sorry for the families and let the gun debate go another day? Isn't it just better to do that than to have to dig into this right now when the bodies are still there?
I think for a lot of people, we're seeing more and more stuff like this. And every time we have one of these tragedies, we say, oh, well, you should just wait. And then we let the next tragedy pile up. And eventually we're going to have to get serious. And for Ford, we absolutely are also having a conversation about race in our country. And we also have to have a conversation about hate crimes in our country. And they're all interrelated. When somebody goes into a church and shoots it up as a hate crime, how did they get access to a gun is a central question to answer in that regard.
All right, we're going to move on gun control here another time. Let's hit something going on in Texas. 2 things in Texas. And Ford, first one to you here. Let's see. The Supreme Court upholds the Texas refusal to issue a Confederate license plate. Meantime, Texas is spending maybe $800 million to create its own border patrol. Please comment on this and don't use the word secession.
Well, let me say this. The Supreme Court was actually right on the license plate case because it is government property and therefore the First Amendment and free speech do not attach. Herein lies my problem with that ruling, though. I'm afraid that ruling is going to be used to basically limit the First Amendment down the road. So stay tuned on that front. And on with respect to the parallel Texas Border Patrol, the federal government is 50 miles back. They're not doing anything. We have 5 sectors in Texas. And guess what? The job of the governor is to keep the people safe, and the federal government isn't going to do it. Guess what? Governor Abbott is spot on.
J.D., go for it.
Well, I agree with Ford on the license plate. They're government property, and we don't need to have Confederate flags on our government property. But I disagree wildly on the border patrol. Right now, we've actually seen more in the Obama administration to do things about the border than ever before. We are spending more money than ever before, and that is just the fact. But if we want to get serious about
spending more money does not mean you're being more effective in actually controlling illegal immigration and drug cartel crime. And you guys keep citing fake stats, and no one knows how many people are going across that border. That 1,254-mile border is barren and ripe for the taking for anyone.
If we want to address people crossing the border, then we need to address legal immigration, and we got to make sure that we have.
This isn't
worker
about
visa
immigration.
programs.
This is about drug cartels. Yes, immigration.
JD,
is part of
I
it.
got to
You're
give
talking
Ford
to someone
chops on this one.
who's
This is not about
pro-immigration reform, but all you want to do is have conversations, never do anything, and never have any interior border security.
This is more about security right now than legal immigration. Can we not just get to the Border Patrol issue? Do you need $800 million? Texas feels so because they feel like they're not getting any help from the federal government.
They get plenty of help from the federal government. We spend plenty of money on closing the border. It's a gigantic border. There's no way to close it that way. And unless you want to have a conversation about legal immigration, you can never close the conversation about border crossings. I think there's a lot of fear mongering going on about what's happening on the other side of the border. It's 1,200 miles in Texas. There's no way to build a wall big enough to keep people out. And right now, we are doing more than enough to make sure it's secure.
JD,
we absolutely need
I
to
grew
make
up
sure
in the
that we
state
have
of
a
Texas,
legal
and I know that you're
immigration
from there. Let me
conversation.
give you a little example. When I was a child,
15
I used to
seconds.
walk across the border in Nuevo Laredo. Today, if I try to do that, I need a black water unit. The drug cartels are taking over down there. And forget the illegal immigration for a minute. They're pushing terrorists across. They're pushing drugs across. They're ruining this country, and we need to put a stop to it and stop playing political games. And if the federal government isn't going to do anything about it, God bless Greg Abbott.
As usual, we are shaking our heads, which is exactly what we need to do at the end of this because we're all out of time, but we got more to do as we get together next time. J.D. Gins, Ford O'Connell. Gentlemen, thank you for being so sedate. Always a pleasure. We'll talk to you again real soon. Thanks a lot. Now, let's go ahead and ask you folks this question that we're posing to you all week long. Who are you supporting in the Republican primary? Whether it's immigration, whether it's Texas, whatever it is. Tell us who you're supporting and tell us why. Go to newsmax.com/poll. We will then discuss it right here and let you know what you're thinking. Stay with us. The fastest 60 minutes in news continues.